Have you ever been so passionate about something that it consumed your every waking moment? For some, it's a hobby, a career, or a dream. But for a man named Roger Patterson, that passion was a creature of legend, a creature many believe doesn't even exist. Bigfoot. His story, however, isn't just about a search for a mythical beast. It's a story of obsession, dedication, and ultimately, a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. This is the tale of the man who chased a legend and tragically became a part of one himself. The name Roger Patterson might not ring a bell for everyone, but if you've ever seen that grainy, shaky footage of a large, hairy figure striding through the woods, you've seen his work. The Patterson-Gimlin film, shot in 1967 in Bluff Creek, California, is arguably the most famous and debated piece of Bigfoot evidence in history. For 59 seconds, the world saw what Patterson claimed was a female Sasquatch, whom he affectionately nicknamed Patty. This short film catapulted him from a simple rodeo rider and amateur inventor into a global phenomenon. But who was Roger Patterson before he became synonymous with Bigfoot? Born in 1926, he was a man of many trades, a bit of a dreamer, and always looking for the next big thing. He had a creative spirit, even publishing a book in 1966 titled, "Do Abominable Snowmen of America Really Exist?" This book was his manifesto, a compilation of eyewitness accounts, footprint casts, and his own theories. It was clear his interest wasn't just a passing fancy, it was a deep-seated belief. He poured his own money, time, and energy into his quest, often borrowing equipment and funds to finance his expeditions into the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. The 1967 expedition was his make-or-break moment. Accompanied by his friend Bob Gimlin, Patterson was determined to capture definitive proof. And, according to them, they did. The film was a sensation. It was analyzed by experts, debated on television, and became a cultural touchstone. For Patterson, it was vindication. He embarked on a whirlwind tour, showing the film, giving interviews, and trying to convince a skeptical world that what he saw was real. He truly believed he had made the discovery of a lifetime. However, the fame came with a heavy price. Patterson faced relentless scrutiny and ridicule. Scientists dismissed the film as a hoax, a man in a gorilla suit. The public was divided. He was labeled a charlatan, a fraud, and a con artist. Every aspect of his life was put under a microscope. His past financial struggles and failed business ventures were used as evidence that he faked the film for money. But those close to him painted a different picture. They described a man who was genuinely, almost naively, convinced of what he saw. He wasn't getting rich off the film. In fact, he was sinking deeper into debt, trying to promote it and fund further research. The constant pressure took a toll. Patterson's health, which had never been robust, began to decline rapidly. In 1971, just 4 years after his famous encounter, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer. Despite his illness, his obsession with Bigfoot never waned. From his hospital bed, he continued to work on a documentary, plan future expeditions, and talk to anyone who would listen about his encounter in Bluff Creek. He was racing against time, not just against the cancer that was consuming him, but against the disbelief of the world. He desperately wanted to find more evidence to prove his critics wrong before it was too late. In his final days, Patterson was a man haunted, not by the creature he saw, but by the legacy he would leave behind. He worried that if he died, his discovery would die with him, forever labeled as a hoax. According to friends who visited him, he was still sketching Bigfoot, still talking about the creature's powerful stride and the look it gave him as it glanced back over its shoulder. He even reportedly told his friend Dennis Jensen, "If I die, this film will be called a fake." It was his greatest fear. On January 15th, 1972, Roger Patterson passed away at the age of 45. He died in relative poverty, his name forever entangled with controversy. His death didn't end the debate. It only fueled it. For believers, his tragic end was proof of his sincerity. Why would a man dedicate his final, painful years to a lie? They saw him as a martyr for the cause, a man who sacrificed everything for a truth the world wasn't ready to accept. His early death? They argued, robbed him of the chance to find the final piece of the puzzle that would have silenced all doubt. For skeptics, his death was simply the end of a sad story about a man who either perpetrated a clever hoax or was so deluded that he chased a fantasy to his grave. They point to the fact that no definitive proof of Bigfoot has ever emerged since. No body, no bones, no undisputed DNA. To them, the Patterson-Gimlin film remains a fascinating piece of pop culture, but nothing more. A product of its time, created by a man desperate for fame and fortune. But the story doesn't quite end there. The mystery of Roger Patterson is as captivating as the mystery of Bigfoot itself. What happens when a person's identity becomes completely intertwined with a legend? Patterson didn't just hunt for Bigfoot. In many ways, he became Bigfoot's biggest advocate, its human face. His entire life was reframed through the lens of those 59 seconds of film. And what about Bob Gimlin, the other man present that day? For decades, he remained largely silent, retreating from the spotlight that had scorched his friend. He went back to a quiet life, wanting nothing to do with the controversy. In recent years, however, he has spoken out more, consistently maintaining that what they saw that day was real. He describes the encounter with a quiet conviction that is hard to dismiss. Speaking of the creature's sheer size, its musky smell, and the unnerving, non-human way it moved, he has never profited from the film and has passed lie detector tests. His steadfast testimony adds another layer of complexity to the puzzle. So, where does that leave us? Was Roger Patterson a visionary who provided the world with its first real glimpse of an unknown primate, or was he a tragic figure? A dreamer who chased a shadow in the woods and paid the ultimate price. Perhaps the truth is somewhere in between. Maybe he was a man who so desperately wanted to believe that he saw what he wanted to see. Or maybe, just maybe, on that fall afternoon in 1967, he and Bob Gimlin stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, something that science has yet to explain. The legacy of Roger Patterson is a paradox. He is both celebrated and condemned, a hero to some and a hoaxer to others. But one thing is undeniable, his story is a powerful reminder of the human need to believe in something beyond our ordinary world. The allure of the unknown that lurks just beyond the tree line. He chased the legend into the wilderness, and in the end, his own story became a legend, itself a tragic, compelling, and utterly unforgettable tale of a man lost to the very myth he sought to prove. His name will forever be whispered in the same breath as Sasquatch, a hunter forever linked to his elusive prey. Thank you so much for watching. What do you believe happened at Bluff Creek in 1967? Was Patterson a hero or a hoaxer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring life's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. We'll see you next time.